South Carolina, look at this. Offensive line woes. Couldn't run the football. Clemson, same thing with Clemson. Their offensive line has to be better. They were getting dominated at the line of scrimmage. And here's my bigger problem with that. This with South Carolina. You playing Georgia State. Love Sean Elliott. Love what he's done for the Panthers in that program, winning bowl game. Well coached. But I don't say this to be rude, but I'm saying this to be honest. Those guys get scholarships from Georgia to Georgia State because that's their level of athleticism, right? You know, they're not 6'4" and 325. They might be 5'11" and 2. So therefore, this D lineman got to go play at Georgia State. They got bars. He's in the Sun Belt versus the SEC based on his talent level, his skill set. They're there for a reason. South Carolina, you're an SEC offensive lineman, and you get dominated by a Sun Belt school. I'm a little concerned. I am. Because this is the same problem that they had last year. You got veteran guys that's been around South Carolina's program, Tim, for a long time. A lot of snaps, a lot of experience, you know. So they got to get better. The tight ends didn't block well on the edge when they tried to attack the perimeter of the defense. They could not get any movement there. Austin Stockton, their transfer from Oklahoma. People thinking that he's going to be – listen, I need to see more. Jaheim Bell is not a blocker, okay? He's athletic. He's going to run the ball. He's going to line in the slot. We talked about this. But I don't expect him to dominate anybody, but I expect him to at least get in the way, right? Just get between the ball carrier and the defender. Josh Vann had a tough day dropping the ball. I love Juice Wells, but the offense to me was the biggest issue. Everybody else defensively, I thought besides the first drive, hey, thumbs up to Clayton White. I still call them nasty. I still think they got the potential to be nasty. They had to shore up some, you know, their gaps and lane integrity. Run the scheme was a little bit off in the first series or so. Gap integrity wasn't sound, but they adjusted. They made changes. Second, you know, special teams was excellent. So, it's concerning to me because when you get dominated physically, that's a bigger issue for me versus schematically, right? Because you can, and listen, the offensive coordinator Satterfield has to help out. If your offensive line struggles in pass protection, you got to do some different things. You may want to do it this way, but your skill set, your talent level is not going to allow you. So you have to get the sharp pencil out and change some things offensively. Which, to his credit, I think he did a little bit of that. I was tweeting, get the guys the ball in space, quick throws, and things like that. They didn't do that early, but they made some adjustments, and finally they got some production a little bit. But they dropped balls. It was kind of disappointing. I'm just telling you, I had a little bit more high hopes for the offense, Tim. Spencer Rattler, he was rattled, no pun intended there, running for his life. But he made some nice throws. Guys dropped them. You know, it's one of them things. Will they get better? I think so. I really hope so. I think they have the talent to be very good. But, man, the offense has got to do some things better. You can't go to Arkansas and not be able to run the football and think you're just going to sit back and throw it. You're going to be in a world of trouble. Next week against Georgia, you can't do these things. It's going to get real ugly real quick. So hopefully they make those adjustments, man, and the offensive line can play much better. I'm just hoping it was the first game. You know, let's get the cobwebs out. You hope that's the case. But when you get dominated, when a guy can take you and beat you one-on-one, and that, to me, causes more concern.
Well, especially when you're playing against a Sun Belt team, right? It's one thing if Georgia comes in and does that. It's another thing if it happens this Saturday. DC says we got out-coached and outplayed. I'd say that's taken a little bit too far, DC. The game was 21 points, right?
Yeah.
And Carolina does get credit for what Pete Limbo did and the special teams unit, and that happened too.